Shotgun with Charlie.
Riding shotgun refers to the practice of sitting next to the driver in a moving vehicle. The term riding shotgun came around after the time of the stagecoach, when somebody used to sit next to the driver holding a shotgun, in case they ran into bandits. My name is Charlie Cook, and I drive a lot. I like to talk to people while I'm driving, so I interview people in my car while I'm driving. Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Before we start today's episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie, I want to thank you for tuning in and watching the show. If you are new here to the YouTube channel, please make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, because that looks good for all things YouTube. And I hope you guys enjoy the show. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon. All right, before we start today's episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie, I want to send a special thank you to John Petrolino from Decoding Firearms. He's also known as the Pen Patriot. He writes for AmmoLand, he writes for Bearing Arms, he writes for JM4 Tactical, he writes for the Armed Lifestyle magazine. John is letting us use his stagecoach as we are here continuing the Southern California tour. So a special thank you to John. All right, welcome to this episode of Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Today we are in Santee, California?
Yep, Santee, California.
Santee, California, and I have with me Dustin Hayes from Red, White, and Badass Brew Coffee. Did I get it right?
That you got it right. I know it's a mouthful.
It really is. Dustin, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Let's drive around and let's talk about you and guns and firearms and
awesome
coffee.
Yeah, awesome. You know, I like all those. You know,
I know.
I like my guns loaded and my coffee just as loaded.
My coffee caffeinated.
Yeah,
it's fully caffeinated.
Well, that's what I, always be caffeinated. You know, it should be always be closing, but it's always be caffeinated.
Right. So
yeah.
You've taken that whole thing and changed it around, huh?
Yeah, just a little bit, or or
look, whatever works, man. Whatever works.
Or stay hydrated and caffeinated.
Hydrated, yeah. This is good, man. We got to talk to your marketing guy. Is that you?
That's me.
Oh, there we go.
My accountant's the one. He's awesome too. That's also me.
Dude, it's so. I'm a one-man show. People say, so who books your shows? Me. Who picks the guests? Me. Who edits the videos? Me. What about the audio? The audio sucks, but it's still me. Who does all your social media? Me. Like I always tell people, if you don't like the editing, I got to talk to the editor. Hold on a second. Let me do this. When I first started editing video, I knew nothing about video. Like nothing.
No way.
I know, shocking, right? We can tell. I used to tell people, I'm like, you know what? I feel like a terrorist. Like, I just want to know what I need to know how to do. I don't want to land the plane. I just want to fly it. Like, I don't want to know how to do anything cool with editing and effects. I just need to put everything together and chop up all the camera stuff. So
it's easy to make it sound halfway decent, right?
Yeah.
It's hard to make it look good.
It's. I always tell people there's not so much I can do with my looks. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Yeah.
Anyway,
I did shave this morning.
Right. Oh my God. Yeah. All right. So tell us about you. How did you grow up hunting or shooting? Before we get into the coffee stuff, let's talk about your gun experience. You've got some military experience. Let's talk about that as well.
Yeah. I grew up. Did a little hunting when I was younger.
Where'd you grow up?
Yukon, Oklahoma. And nobody knows where that's at, but a person that came from there, and it's Garth Brooks.
Really?
Yep, really. That's our claim to fame. I mean, we even have a boulevard named after him.
Nice.
So that's how you know it's legit.
That's how you know it's legit.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, so grew up there. Just like every other kid, I was a knucklehead.
Yeah.
And didn't do what I was supposed to be doing, and so now I was kind of at a crossroads and like, what am I going to do with my life?
Right.
Right now I'm not doing a whole bunch of nothing with it, so I made the hard decision of dropping out of high school.
Oof.
And my dad's like, well, the only way you're dropping out of high school is going into the military.
Oh my.
So I was like, all right, well, now I just have to pick which branch.
Yeah.
looked at the Marines. I was like, oh, they do too many push-ups. I don't want those.
Right.
You know, looked at the Air Force. I was like, you know, being a high school dropout, they probably wouldn't take me. You know, then I talked to a Navy recruiter. I was like, you want to see the world? I was like, heck yeah.
Yes, I do.
And so that was it. You know, I was like, Navy. I'm going Navy. You know, send me out to a deep blue. Funny
cool.
part though is I've never even seen the ocean.
Oh my God!
Until I joined the Navy.
Okay. Yeah. Well, sure. I mean, you're in Oklahoma. There's not a lot of.
No, we got lakes.
Yeah.
You know, and
lakes,
you can't see very much. You know, in front of you in lakes. But I was raised up on Lake Tenkeler, which is our biggest lake in Oklahoma, and it was cool. It was cool. I had fun. Had a lot of fun growing up.
Cool.
That's why I didn't graduate high school.
That's why I didn't graduate. So I don't know if people know this. Dave Thomas, the founder of Wendy's, he did not graduate high school.
Really?
I don't know if yes, he did not graduate.
No, I didn't know.
And after he started Wendy's and Wendy's became successful, he went back and got his GED, and he was voted most likely to succeed.
Wow. Yes,
that's entirely true.
I know they weren't saying that about me, but kids, if you're listening, don't be a fool. Stay in school.
Really, man?
Yeah. So, you know, I kind of paved the way, really, for myself. You know, some luck, but also I had a decent head on my shoulders. I wasn't, you know, I wasn't stupid. Now I'm
total knucklehead.
You know, now I don't know. I battle that every morning, whether I'm smart or not.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah. Joined the Navy.
Joined the Navy. How long were you in the Navy for?
I was in the Navy 13 and a half years.
13 and a half years?
Yep, 13 and a half years.
That's a big commitment, man.
It was a stretch.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You know, I loved it. It was a great time. I mean, I mean, I carried on that philosophy of, you know, party on, Wayne. But,
party on, Garth.
you know, but I just, you know, worked hard and kind of got where at, and they kind of molded me, and that's kind of what I needed, is a little bit of molding. And so dropped out. Dropped out, got my GED, went right in 2000. Yeah. And you know, it was an interesting journey from there. You know, I was supposed to be a firefighter. But no, they don't tell you this when you're going in the Navy. Everybody's a firefighter. You're on a ship. Like, you are not going anywhere. You're fighting the fire. Right.
If you want to get off the ship, you're going to have to fight the fire.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, that'd be pretty daunting to jump off the boat in the middle of the ocean. I mean, do it for fun, but like, do it for a real emergency. Like, poof.
Yeah, that's a little.
That's going to be a rough one.
Totally.
But yeah, joined the Navy. Had a lot of fun. You know, did some firearm stuff in there. Everybody does some basic firearms training. Yeah. You know, got expert qualified in pistol and rifle.
Cool. What guns did you use?
M16s.
The M16.
Yeah, M16s
and the pistol was the Beretta.
Yeah, the Beretta.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, both great guns.
When you got out of the military and you decided to become a gun guy, were those the first two guns that you bought or thought about buying?
No.
Okay.
I was a gun guy. I mean, I love guns since I was growing up. You know, I've shot shotguns to hunting rifles, to ARs. I mean, just that's about the spectrum when I was growing up. You know, my dad didn't have a whole lot of guns. Right. But it wasn't until I actually got married and had a kid and settled down enough where actually I can have a gun, because you know you can't really have a gun on the ship. So. It really limited us, you know, having guns, which is good, because some people shouldn't have them. So once I got married and got a house, I bought the Walther P99.
P99, that was James Bond, right?
Yep, and that was the first gun I bought myself.
That's cool.
So it was, a great gun, but man, that thing was picky on ammo.
Really?
Oh yeah, it would hang up.
I have a Walther P22 that is really fussy too. If you buy the cheap bulk ammo, it's not so good. But if you buy the CCI Mini Mags, it's flawless. Yep. Yeah, that's exactly what. If the cheap ammo, it won't shoot it. Yeah. It will shoot the Winchesters really well, and then the Federal shoot. I can't remember is it PWC ammunition, I think.
Is it PWC?
UMC?
Maybe.
The yellow box?
No, it's white. It's a white. But it wouldn't shoot though. It was real picky with those for some reason. It was just that ammo. Yeah. Just wouldn't do it. It'd hang up every like 7 or 8 rounds.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That is definitely a problem.
That is a big problem.
Yeah, and then kind of continued on from there. Go ahead.
Oh, what kind of shooting did you do? Just recreational shooting? Did you get into competitive shooting?
Nope, just recreational shooting.
Okay.
Nothing too competitive. I loved, just going out to the range, and I bought it when I was in Oklahoma, so I got stationed back out in Oklahoma. There's a yeah. I know.
I'm coming from Oklahoma. You want to see the world, boy? Yes, I do. We're sending you to Oklahoma.
Like, oh shit, I made a mistake.
I wanted to leave.
So I got stationed in Virginia first.
Yeah.
And then in Virginia, I was only there for about a year, and then the ship moved to San Diego, and that's how I got to San Diego. And when I saw San Diego, I was just like, you see San Diego in pictures, and then you see San Diego for real. You're like, it looks just like the pictures. It is so awesome here.
I think the weather here has been really nice, and I asked a few people, and they're like, yeah, it's like this all the time.
All the time.
I'm like, really? I mean, like it's, upper 60s, mid 70s.
When it gets to about 82, we start melting.
82, my God.
Yeah, I know. No humidity.
I think it's 82 in my apartment with humidity.
Right? Growing up, I was like, you guys don't know what you're talking about.
Right, this whole heat without humidity, I never understood it, but I was in Phoenix a few years ago, and I was hanging out at an event. I was wearing some jeans and a button-down shirt and a suit coat. I'm like, it's 83 degrees. I'm like, doesn't feel it. There's no humidity.
Out here, man. You get 82, we start getting a little squirrely. Man. It's interesting.
Right.
San Diego.
This is a turn lane.
Yep, turn lane. And then we'll go up here and...
You know where we're going, right?
I do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Trying to keep you on a good directory path of going south.
Gotcha.
We're gonna go to Mexico. Yeah,
I've never seen the donkey show either, so I don't know.
Neither have I. And honestly, I don't know if I'd really want to watch it. I would probably watch it. I'd be like this,
right?
Split the fingers, like
a little bit.
But I've been to Mexico plenty of times. It's actually, I got robbed twice in Mexico. Yeah, by the police.
By the police. I was robbed by the police.
By the police. Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
Oh, yeah. They are not for the people. They're not to protect and serve.
They're not to serve and protect.
Yeah, they will not.
They don't put that on their horses.
I don't even know. It was very interesting. So the first time it happened, it was, buddy got a little kind of out unruly with one of the ladies there at the...
A little drunk and handsy?
Yeah, And so I was like, okay, what's the problem? And they're like, you got to pay us $100 to each, and there was 5 of us. And we were like, oh yeah? You think so? And he's like, what are you guys gonna do?
Call the police?
Nope.
We're the police.
He just kind of looks over our shoulders, go, well, there you go. And there's about 7 cops, and we were like, yeah, you won.
Oh my God.
Here's $100, and they're looking at us like nodding, like, yep, pay up.
Wow.
So we're like, all right. And I was like, you know what? I think it's time to go. So I didn't go back down there for a bit, and then it was about 5 months later. Went back down there. It was in November of 2001, and 2001 or 2000, I don't know. No, 2001. So I went down there in November 2001, doing some Christmas shopping, and well, as we were doing, it was broad daylight, and we missed the turn to get back into the United States. So you had to and we're walking. So you had to walk over this, footbridge and all this stuff to get back to the United States and go through the, the checkpoint, whatever. And we missed it. So we had bags of stuff. Well, all of a sudden, this cop car comes screeching around the corner like Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, and we're the only 2 people on the street at this point.
Oh my
God. It was me and my buddy. He was 6'2", just we were both in really good shape. And so we're like, okay, well, they find our military IDs. They find money all over the place on us, because you don't want to keep it in one place in case you get pickpocketed or robbed. Yeah. So, they kind of thumb through, and they're like, all right, well, you guys are going to jail. And we're like, for what? And they're like, held up something that looked like drugs, like meth or something. And we're like, oh, yeah, we look like the guys that do meth. Oh, why would we go down to Mexico and buy meth and bring it across the border? You know? And they're like, yep. So they put us back in the cop car.
Oh, man.
Driving us around. Well, they were just doing figure eights. So, anyway, they pulled in the alley and said $150 each, and border's right there.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was like, you know, that's a wrap. I'm not going down TJ anymore.
Right.
That is definitely not worth it. So, yeah, I didn't go back to Mexico for 10 years.
That's a good plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good plan.
Yeah, so I dabbled a little bit in the military, and then, you know, really got more hands-on experience when I started flying drones. And,
really?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep, because I started getting attached. Me and a couple guys that we're with, we were getting attached to the Special Forces unit. That's all we did is actually help out the Special Forces community. And we're talking from the SEALs to MARSOC to the ODA guys.
Wow.
Yep. So we went out there with them in the field and did all their ISR needs, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
That is cool.
It was, yeah, the funnest job I had in the military. It was kind of, I got voluntold though. I didn't volunteer for this job and say, hey, I want to go do this. My commanding officer was like, hey, I didn't see you at the meeting this morning, and this opportunity came across, and let's go fly UAVs. And he called me personally. I was just like, what? I was like, I don't even know what a UAV is.
Yeah, what's
one?
UAV like, stand for?
It's a unmanned aerial vehicle, or UAS, unmanned aerial system. Okay. And so so he was like, started telling me about this. He's like, yeah, you know, like if you play video games. I'm like, well, I'm not a gamer either. Not very good with electronics. I was like, man, this sounds terrible. Like, this sounds like a job I'm not meant to do. Right. And so he was just like, great, I'm going to take that as a yes. Oh, jeez. And I was like, well, here we go. First thing I want to do is, you know, probably fail school because I don't know anything about flying. Went through it, did pretty well. You know, had a couple tests, you know, were a little rougher than others. And yeah. Make a right here. And started going through training, and then we really just excelled, and I loved it. It was a great gig, and so did that for the last half of my career, and then did that for a while, and then till I ended up getting medically retired. Yeah. You know, from some of the injuries I got from Afghanistan, but nothing too big that I thought couldn't be fixed. I just jacked up my ankle and my back a little bit, and they're like, well, can't pass go, can't collect $200, time for you to get out. Okay. And I was like, wow, really? After 13 and a half years. So, yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's got to be a kick in the pants. Well, you just kind of look at life decisions. You're like, man, what am I going to do now? Yeah, now what? You know, I mean, military's been my whole life. Yeah. My whole adulthood. I didn't know anything else. Yeah. But I've always had a hankering for businesses. So I've always just wanted to own my own business. Being in the military was great, and it gave me a lot of structure. But I really needed to, I don't know, I've never just been afraid to take risks. And so that's cool. I got out, and I do like what everybody else does in the military, and went to school. So went to school for business and got my bachelor's in business. Oh, and cool. About 7 months before I graduated, I started a construction business. Really? Yeah, doing concrete. Cool. Yeah, it was all right. It was fun. Yeah. I owned that for a buddy of mine. My son was playing football, and one of the buddies on the team started talking to me about, you know, construction and being a veteran and disabled veteran certified, blah 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 blah. And I was like, man, I don't want anything to do with construction. So the reason is my dad owned a construction business. So growing up, I saw the ebbs and flows of construction, and I didn't want anything to do with it. Right. And so did construction he started talking to me about it, and about a month into football season, he's like, just look into it. I was like, all right, fine, I'll look into it. So I started doing my research, and I was like, well, I'm probably going to open up a construction business.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I didn't have a big background in construction.
Really?
Yep, I didn't. So, like, I didn't, I was not an expert at concrete, and that's what we specialize in, concrete. Yeah. I wasn't, an expert at doing demo. I mean, it's easy to look at something and say, hey, tear that down, but
when you have to tear it down.
But when you have to tear it down, it's a little bit different. That's going to be a problem,
yeah.
So my father-in-law at the time had spent his whole life doing concrete. Mm-hmm. So I approached him and was like, hey, dude, you want to start a concrete company? And he's like, yeah, because then I just did my research of what would be a very lucrative business out here in Southern California, and almost any construction business, if you're good at it, it's going to be lucrative. So then, and mind you, I'm still going to school at this point.
Yeah.
And so, so we started construction, a concrete business, and did that. We did really well. I mean, I did $100,000 in sales in my first 90 days.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So we were doing very well. And then we wanted to kind of expand, and so we brought in a third partner. And kind of things were going kind of great. And unfortunately, Larry, my now ex-father-in-law, ended up getting lung cancer and passing away.
Oh man!
And he was our subject matter expert. Well, this whole time I've been learning how to do concrete now. So now I've been doing it for 2-3 years.
Sure.
And like I said, I'm not dumb. I pick up things pretty quickly. And this whole time, I'm picking up guns and buying guns. And I've only bought guns. I've never sold a gun that I bought.
I hear ya. And I asked somebody, I'm like, so buying guns I get, selling guns I don't really get that so much. And they're like, well, I sell some guns to fund other guns. I'm like, okay, I guess I get that.
Yeah,
I guess I get that.
If you need this to pay for that, and you really want this, I can maybe wrap my head around it. But I can't really. I can't do that.
I hear ya. I've only sold one because I needed to pay rent. And I'm like, what a good father do?
You're right.
Right?
Have the kids set up a lemonade stand.
Right.
Yeah. I get it. It's tough.
Yeah.
There's one gun I would probably sell. It's my Weatherby shotgun. 12-gauge shotgun.
Nice.
It's just nothing special about it if I was going to sell it. But then again, the shotgun. It's only going to get $300, $350 for it.
Are you really going to get yourself ahead?
No.
Yeah.
No. Just cry at night because I sold a gun.
Right.
So, but I do have a couple interesting guns. In 2016, me and my dad went to Arizona, and we were in the 1,000-man shoot that Henry put on.
Really?
Yep. And we got the gun that we shot in the 1,000-man shoot.
Wow.
So we were in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most people shooting at the same time.
Oh my God, that is too cool.
Yeah.
That is too cool.
Yeah, and it's a 22 long rifle, lever action.
Nice.
It's got the maple wood on it, and the brass finish, the octagon barrel.
That's cool.
And it's engraved 1,000-man shoot.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's that was really cool. And I took my son there with me, but he couldn't shoot. He was too young.
Oh man.
But
could have been 1,001.
Could have been 1,001. I don't know. I was like, I can't remember the number of the gun, which that's probably bad, but it was like I'm 987 or something like that. I was a little late to sign up.
That's cool.
But yeah.
That is cool, man. That is cool.
It's probably one of my, it's all right. It's an all right gun. I have a 45 Colt from Henry. that is probably my favorite gun to shoot.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And there's no kick, there's no recoil to it. It's just smooth like butter. I mean, it is just, it cycles through it, and it's just
nice.
Never had a problem with it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
But it's, yeah. So I got 2 Henrys and, 1 1/3, but.
Nice.
Got to pay that rent.
Yes. So back to the concrete biz. Your outlaw father passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And
yep. So and then me and the partner kind of had some falling out, and some money was taken, and had to close the business down. And
could you sell it to someone else?
So I had a deal on the table to have somebody buy his portion out.
Yeah.
And some of the debt in the company because of the goodwill of the business and what we did. I mean, I've done stuff all over San Diego.
Cool.
And so it just wouldn't fall through. It was the communication breakdown was just there. It was bad.
Gotcha.
It was bad. Some money was taken, and inevitably made us close our doors. And so I lost my love for construction at that point. I didn't never want to get back into it.
Sure.
I never want to get into it in the first place, but I was making really good money.
Can't beat that with a stick.
Yeah, that's kind of hard. But you're making that good money, you're like, I don't really see myself doing something else. So I took a hiatus for a while from actually even working.
Yeah.
So for being retired military, it kind of gave me that cushion I needed to kind of get myself back together and figure out what I want to do.
What's next? Yeah.
And so I opened up a solar panel window cleaning business.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did that go?
So I just kind of got into that by just word of mouth. Somebody was talking about it, and I was like, all right. So I researched all the equipment. I have never cleaned a solar panel in my life.
Oh my God.
So I was like, all right, well, hey, what could go wrong? I got solar panels in my house, so let me practice.
Right.
If I mess something up, it's mine. Not somebody else's. So got good at it. It didn't take long to figure out how, and I knew somebody who did it, so I called him up and said, hey, teach me how to clean solar panels. And he did.
Gosh.
And had that business for about 5 months. And I ended up having to go to the doctor because I had some spots on my back that were of worry to a tattoo artist. Yeah. So I was going to get...
of worry to a tattoo artist?
Yeah. So he was going to do a tattoo on my back.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, man, I'd love to do your tattoo, but you honestly need to go to the doctor. And I was like, okay, for what? He's like, these spots on your back are not right. I was like, okay. And I'm like, I'm really taking advice from a tattoo artist?
Right.
But then I was like, logically, he sees skin all day.
Skin all day, sure.
So I was like, all right. So I went to the doctor, and they're like, so they did the little biopsy, and, came back of cancerous material.
Whoa.
Whatever. Yeah. And I was like, man, me going to get a tattoo covered up saved me from whatever.
Right.
So it was moderate,
Yeah.
So it was like, all right. And so they checked my back. And so now I came to a crossroads in life. And like, what the hell am I going to do now? Right. I go, now I got this business. I'm going to be in the sun all day long. And, this just kind of formulated. I'm like, well, you know what? This is not good. So I was down during the biopsy, and I had 2 people the same week approach me about buying my business.
Whoa.
And so I was like, you know what? This has got to be a sign from God.
Yeah.
So, yep, sure. And sold it to another veteran.
Yeah.
And it had a book of clients. So it was doing well.
That's cool.
And he's still doing well.
Still at it, that's right.
And now I was scratching my head going, what the hell am I going to do with my life now?
Right. So what's this, the third time, fourth time? You're going to be like, what am I going to do?
Yeah. I got the military, got the construction, and now I just sold my first business. I didn't sell it, for as much to, to retire.
Sure.
Move to Greece or something. But I was just kind of scratching my head and going, I don't even know what I'm going to do with my life now. I mean, I might have to grow up, go get a real job.
Right.
So
gotta fight that.
Yeah. I mean, that's not a good feeling to have, So don't go get a real job, guys. Just go make your own job.
Yes.
So while I was down and waiting for this stuff to heal, I just started messing around, started Googling coffee. And I've never roasted coffee in the past. I was never a barista. I've never worked at Starbucks. I could tell you that coffee was a bean and it grew. And I like to consume it.
There we go.
So, so then I started doing the research and started doing a little bit of experimenting.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I'm going to go buy me coffee equipment and start roasting and blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
Well, huh?
So you roast your own?
Yes, but no. I do roast. But I realized that buying all the equipment and getting permits and everything that is going to require of that kind of business was going to cost me $65,000.
Yeah.
Nah, I didn't have it.
Right.
You know, so I went to my bank account and looked at it and says, yeah, you're a little low. You're about 60,000 low, guy.
Right.
So now what? So now I was like, well, I need to find a facility that I can roast and make my own flavors out. And so I did. So
that's
now
cool.
I don't have the overhead. And so
you have someone else does all this?
Well, I do kind of.
Okay.
I roast, or I can roast, or I can have them roast for me, and I pay them a percentage.
Gotcha.
So for now,
I had a buddy of mine that wanted to get into coffee, and he was in the military and then became a police officer, and so he was coming up with police themed coffees.
It's just okay. I might know who this person is.
Oh my god! Seriously?
I might know it.
I think it was 5-0 Coffee is what he called it, I believe.
Oh no, okay.
Okay.
That's not the same one.
All right.
I know. Yeah. So I actually got. It's weird how you start crossing paths with people and everything, and you know how it all happens. So I literally got into coffee just by pure chance, by trying to figure out my life and do a viable business.
Right.
And so I was like, well, you know, I want to go into a very saturated market, coffee. And, you know, you've got these slew of other coffee companies. As I started doing my research, I was like, well, it's going to be pretty competitive. So I got to set myself apart.
Right. What makes it different? So that's, I think, what my buddy ended up doing is they were coming up with, I think there was a roaster that made flavors for him. And he made the flavors. He had to come up with his own. I guess they had some place that did the packaging. They came up with the names, the flavors, the story behind the coffee, and somebody else was making it, and he was trying to sell it. So he's like, all I got to do. He's like, you know, I tell them how much I need, and they make it. They make our flavors, and
well, they're hard to come by, especially to have, you know, to probably find a place that will make your unique flavors.
Yeah.
Those are probably going to be difficult to come by. Okay. And, I mean, it was. I had a lot of doors shut on me when I started down this endeavor. You know, I had a couple of people like, oh, yeah, come on, help me out. Man, you can ask me any questions. Well, then I guess I started asking too many questions. And they're like, go away. Right. And I was like, really? And I was like, okay, well, what about the, you said you would help me out kind of, you know, the attitude. So I was like, all right, you know, whatever. I'm not the kind of person who quits. It will take me a long time before I sit there and say, yep, you know what, I went down every road and I've searched every avenue that I can before I go quit. And so didn't quit, and I was like, well, okay, you said no because it was going to be my coffee source, and I was like, well, now I've got to go find my own source. And now I have to go find this other place to go roast it because this guy had a roaster too. Right. And I was like, well, now I just had pretty much my whole business shut down. And I already had orders. And so I was like scrambling. I was like, well, I need coffee now. So found that, you know, I'm a problem solver. So I just take the problem and solve it one at a time and keep rocking and rolling. I always tell people, eat an elephant bite by bite. Yep. Got a big problem. Okay, we got this little problem, and then this little problem, and then this little problem, and this little problem, and then it's going to take care of the big problem. Yeah. That's it. Well, that's how I got, you know, like this right here. I mean, you know, whiskey business is, I came up with the name. I love it. You know, came up with the idea. There is other kind of whiskey kind of flavored coffees out there, but they're few and far between.
Right.
Usually it's like a rum base or something like that. But this is my number one seller. This is what everybody
digs it.
Yeah, everybody digs it. So I do events. This is what's roasting, and it gets them to my tent. And they're like, "What is that smell?" I was like, "Well, come in here. I got a story for you."
Right.
So
come on in.
Do you need me to hit a vein?
Right.
Because this one's gonna hit them all.
Right.
And so yeah, I came up. And so when I started down this, my original name, it was not Red, White, and Badass Brew. It was Basic Badass Coffee Company.
Basic Badass Coffee Company.
Yep.
Okay.
Basic Badass Coffee Company. And the premise behind that is I like pumpkin spice. So in the...
You don't look like a pumpkin spice girl to me.
You should see my Ugg boots. You know, I got... I surprise people all the time. You know, don't judge a book by its cover, folks. I'm telling you, I am a pumpkin spice fanatic, and put that in my face, I'm gonna drink it or eat it. Yeah. So my buddies would call me Basic Bitch.
Yeah.
You know, and so, you know, I made a stupid video of, I was like, okay, you guys want to make fun of me? Ha ha ha, watch this. I'll go make fun of myself, and I'll post this on Facebook. So I made a video of me eating pumpkin spice and doing like just a stupid little review.
Yeah.
I don't know, 500 people watched it. And I was like, who's watching this stupid video of me eating pumpkin spice stuff? I was dumbfounded. I was like, man, you guys really don't have any time with your life.
A lot of free time.
Oh, so I made another one. Yeah. And 700 or 800 people watched it. And I'm just like, what in the world is going on here? You know, and my buddy's like, oh, you know, call me other names now.
Right.
So that's how Basic Badass Coffee Company came about.
Very cool.
So, but that was very short-lived.
Yeah.
I ended up getting a letter from another coffee company that it was pretty similar to their name.
Yeah.
Or a trademark they had. And so I was like, you know what? I got to find something else. And so as I was sitting down, they're like, well, that road is closed. And some market material that I already had. And I was like, well, what am I going to do now? Because I didn't want to get in a lawsuit. And so
makes sense.
I came up with Red, White, and Badass Brew. And I was like, that touched the core of me as a human being.
Yeah.
This represents everything that I love. So that's going with it. And awesome. It really translates to people when they can pronounce it right.
Right.
Don't worry, I pronounce it wrong too still.
I'm telling you, like, when I had the idea for writing Shotgun with Charlie, I'm like, whatever, this is what I'm going to call it. And then when things started to go well, they're like, hey, that's kind of long. Like, writing shotgunwithcharlie.com is long. I'm like, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Like, this is, you know, because when you're starting something new, you don't really know where it could take you.
You have no idea.
You have no idea. So you're like, well, I'm going to go with this because I think it sounds cool, and then things like start going well. You're like, oh crap, that's kind of a long thing to say. So I condense all my stuff down on my personal Facebook page. I put RSWC, and I have one of my friends. They're like, they know what I do, and I had them on the show. They're like, what does RSWC stand for? Writing Shotgun with Charlie. They're like, oh,
yeah.
For a while, I think I had an iPhone 7, and the iPhone 7 would recognize RSWC and capitalize it, but my iPhone 13 that I have now does not.
Oh, really?
I'm like, come on. As much as I type it on my phone.
You haven't gotten it yet?
I know. It does. It's funny. Like, if I type writing Shotgun with Charlie, it'll capitalize each of them. When I type gun, it'll capitalize gun.
Oh, wow.
But it still hasn't picked up RSWC.
That's ridiculous. You know, I shortened mine to RWBB.
There you go.
You know, because I was like, all right, you know, sometimes if I have something too much to drink, coffee, I can't pronounce.
Sure.
Words, you know.
You're all hopped up on coffee.
Yeah, right.
I used to never, like, I used to be a little bit of an avid coffee drinker. I probably didn't start drinking coffee until I was in my 20s. And I had a guy that I was playing in a band, and you know, I don't know, trying to figure out shit in my life. And so he said he drinks coffee. I'm like, all right, well, I'm an adult. I'm in my 20s. Little did I know, right?
Yep.
But I thought I was an adult because I was in my 20s. And I'm like, well, he drinks coffee. I'm going to drink coffee. So I started drinking coffee, and then I went through this period where a buddy of mine came over for breakfast one time. He came over with his wife. Our wives were friends. And he came over, he's like, hey man, like, I'm like, you want some coffee? He's like, no, I'm off coffee. I'm like, you are? He's like, I'm done. I'm like, wow, that's amazing. And then he left. I'm like, maybe I should quit drinking coffee. And I'm like, right? No. So I'm like, I know it's gonna happen. So I quit drinking coffee. I had a week of headaches.
Yep.
Sucked, completely sucked. And then 2 years later, we had them over for breakfast again. And I said, you want some coffee? Or no, I said, he asked for some coffee. I'm like, you drink coffee? He's like, yeah, of course I drink coffee. I'm like, you quit? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, dude, you quit 2 years ago. You're the reason that I stopped drinking coffee.
No way.
He's like, oh, that lasted 3 days. I couldn't take the headaches. I'm like, you're a bastard. So I went to decaf.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have decaf. And I had decaf for a while. And then I'm like, you know what? If I'm drinking coffee, I'm just gonna go with regular coffee.
You gotta get the punch.
Right. And I didn't necessarily believe the caffeine thing, right? Because I know some people are immune to caffeine, and I thought I was. But then I would go to this coffee shop in my town, and I would go and do some work, and I'd have like 3 cups of coffee, and then I come out, I'm just like, I'm like, all right, maybe there is something to it, you know?
Oh, there is. I mean, you can definitely overdose on caffeine.
Yes.
You know, and that's kind of where you got to judge of where you're at. And that's one thing about the coffee that I have. It's freshly roasted. So people are like, wow, your stuff is so much stronger. It's like, well, it's not really stronger. It's just fresh. You know, it's not been sitting there for years and long, while, and hot to cold, hot to cold, hot to cold, and the beans aren't as they're not old beans and stuff like that. So it's really fresh coffee.
Cool. So where do you keep all this? Where do you concoct all this? Are you like a mad scientist in the basement?
No, I mean, no. I do it at the kind of like. Maybe. I mean, sometimes we get the idea. You're like, okay, I want something, and I want it to taste a certain way, and that's kind of with like the Moab. Like, this is my Moab. This is my second bestseller. Yeah. The flavors, it says it has the dark chocolate, the caramel, and the fruit flavors.
What does Moab stand for?
Mother of all brews.
That's awesome.
Or mother of all bombs if you're in the military.
Right.
So we've seen a Moab. Our previous president, was dropping one on foreheads.
Right.
So, but yeah, I just come up with the names. I do all the design.
That's cool.
And so, yeah, just all in-house. I do all the design. And so when I come up with a flavor, I kind of like, okay, what do I want this flavor profile to be? And so I use all high-quality coffee. It's all premium coffee. It's nothing subpar or, lower-grade coffee because it's a flavored coffee. Yeah. And that's what is even probably more unique about my coffee than probably most, because they'll go buy the cheap beans because they're masking it with, some kind of flavor. But I find coffees that are going to complement the flavor that I'm going to be doing. So, like, if I find, like, my Irish cream that I have, I've, made sure that coffee that I was using complemented that Irish cream flavor very well. So, okay. And same thing with my vanilla. Yeah. And then the whiskey business. The whiskey business is just by far the best. I mean, smell this one. You're driving, I'll hold it.
Ooh, I can smell it through the package.
Yeah, that's my Moab. That's not even whiskey business.
That's awesome.
Now, the whiskey business.
Oh my God, that smells delicious.
Yeah, that is.
I can't wait to have some.
People get their hands on it and they're like, "Yep, I'm buying it."
Nice.
And 9 times out of 10 they come back and buy more.
Very
so
cool.
It's
all right. We're not getting on the highway, are we?
Make a right. Get in the right.
All right.
Could have, but goes the same way.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's a lot. So now I've got these.
So you get the fresh coffee. How many flavors do you have?
I have 11 roasts right now. I'm actually going to be paring it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually going to be paring it down to 5. So because it's just too many. Some sell, some don't.
Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna pare it down and just have a couple flavors on there. And
very cool.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good for overhead.
So how do you take the flavors? How do you come up with the ideas and put it together to try what flavors work?
Trial and error.
Trial and error.
Trial and error. A lot of trial and error. Yeah. Truth be told, I'm not a flavored coffee drinker. I'm not. Flavored coffee isn't my number one thing. Mm-hmm. I like the natural notes that are in coffee. So when I do a flavored coffee, I am so overly picky. Yeah. What it's going to taste like, because I want to make sure it is just exceptionally great. Mm-hmm. Make a left right here. All right. So yeah, so it takes a little bit. It's a little bit of a process to actually get it. Mm-hmm. Not only get the coffee, but then come up with the packaging to the label. Right. And that's a whole nother concept that takes a while. I usually go about 5 or 6 ideas before I land on one. So it takes about a month for me to develop a coffee. Really? Yeah. Wow. Yep. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Do you have any employees? Is it just you? Just me for right now. I'm a one-man ass kicking machine. That's awesome. But the coffee is just the vehicle. Mm-hmm. I love coffee. Yeah. I was tired of drinking Starbucks and all that crap. Yeah, I said Starbucks. I know. Don't go buy it. Buy my coffee. But it's my mission is what I'm passionate about. Mm-hmm. And my mission is to put veterans to work. Especially veterans that have issues that need to kind of get back in the workforce. Mm-hmm. and get back on their feet. And so that way they can come. That's why I'm really, really passionate about. And I tried to do this with my other businesses, but my other one, the solar cleaning, never got big enough for me to hire somebody. But the construction, I can't. I was such a smaller company that I couldn't just hire many veterans that didn't know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the pitfall in that. But this company is going to be scaled up with veterans. Very cool. Because they need to get back into the workforce. Mm-hmm. And we're talking about if they have a substance abuse issue, or not substance abuse issue, or they suffer from PTSD. Yeah. To get that camaraderie back, get back in the workforce, and then actually be a mentor for them. Mm-hmm. And if they want to go work for a bigger company or the government, I help them along. That's cool. To get where they want to go. That's great. And being on several businesses, I know a lot of people. Mm. And so if they're going to be here in San Diego, I can connect them with the right organization to probably get them where they need to go. That's cool. So that's why coffee. So the coffee is my vehicle to help veterans out. Mm-hmm. Very cool. Now, I know there are other coffee companies mm-hmm. that expand out into other products. Yeah. So you got a T-shirt here? I do. Yeah. Do you have some other T-shirts? Red, White, and Badass Brew T-shirt. I do. Nice. You can go get them online. I'm also wearing the Red, White, Badass Brew hat. So very cool. Yeah. Most people don't see it. There's another guy, military guy with camouflage. Yeah. Right. I love my camouflage, guys. Yeah. So you can find these online at my website. It's mm-hmm. redwhiteandbadassbrew.com. Yeah. You can hit me up on Instagram. It's, guessed it, Red, White, and Badass Brew. And then I'm gonna have more T-shirts coming out and some more merchandise. Very cool. Here later on, and right now I'm working on a cold brew. On a cold brew. So I don't get the concept behind cold brew. And here's why. You're the coffee guy. Yeah. I'm not a coffee expert here. I guess cold brew's made differently, but what I don't get is this. I don't get how nobody likes cold coffee, but they're more than willing to drink an iced coffee, and I have a hard time processing that.
you know, because all the time when you go into a coffee place, you know, like my daughter's hooked on the Dunkin' Donuts, and she'll go in and she'll get an iced coffee with a half-calf decaf mocha with a swirl, and you know, extra cream light on it. I'm like, honey, but you're really having a glass of milk with a little coffee flavor to it.
That's it.
So I don't quite get that.
You know, I guess you just have to like coffee in order to drink it. I like cold brew, but the thing with cold brew is it's low acidity.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So you don't have, you know, so if you have a sensitivity issue, it's a lower acidity.
All
so
right.
you can, you know, consume that a little bit easier than you would.
Oh my God.
Hot
This
coffee.
is what I got to worry about now that I'm getting old.
You know, like, you know, going down the coffee game, and you know, people come talk to me about their ailments. And I'm just like, I don't even know what I should do. I can't help you. Like, what do you
Right.
what do you want from me? Yeah, like, you know, you probably shouldn't be drinking my coffee. You should probably drink something that's going to be, I mean, it's not, you know, high acidity. Every coffee roast is going to have a little bit different acidity level. But they're all pretty mild, except for my grenade. The one called the grenade, I would not recommend somebody who has any health issues to partake into that one because it's very highly caffeinated.
All right.
Yeah, when I was making that one, I drank about 2 ounces of it, and I was like, well, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go do an Ironman.
Oh
yeah.
my God,
Yeah, I was like, you know what? And as I was making, I was like, make it right.
Make it right.
Yep. As I was making it,
Yeah.
I had to dumb it down.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, I can't sell that. I don't know. Somebody's gonna die.
Right.
You know,
Somebody's gonna die.
So I dumbed it down, and I mean, it's still great. Still great coffee.
That's cool.
And then yeah, it's a very fun and interesting game, and
Nice.
you know, I incorporate some guns in my video.
Yeah.
I have a gun it's my AR-15 pistol. I know that's a buzzword. I shouldn't have said it.
Right.
But it's hair coated as an American flag.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to have one like that.
Oh, it's nice.
That's badass.
What, can you have AR-15s where you're
Oh,
at?
please. They are extremely neutered.
yeah, right. Well, same
live in
here.
occupied territory. We're going straight?
Yes, right.
Okay. Yeah, I live in occupied territory. We can have them, but they have to be neutered.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's a little
10 rounds.
My stomach hurts.
It's not the coffee.
It's not. We have to have fixed mags, ARs with 10-round mags. Then we can have those, but we can have ones that are already in the state of Massachusetts that people already possess, so we can transfer them back and forth to other people. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so stupid. Anyway.
Yeah, it's the same thing here in California.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't have, the same AR-15 that you can have in Oklahoma.
Right.
You got to have this, 10-round fixed magazine.
Fixed with the bullet button.
Yeah, so, okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, when all these really ridiculous laws started coming out, I was like, okay, well, I got the one, actually I don't have any more, so, I don't have any more. So I was like, you know what, I'm kind of done right now with doing anything to them or even taking them out in public. Because I don't want it to be outside of the law, you know what I mean?
Right.
And not being up to date, so I don't want to be a felon. I love my freedoms.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, we're gonna take a right?
Yeah. At the light, take a right.
All right, well listen, we are almost where we need to be. Let's wrap it up here. How can people find you and all of your stuff and on social media and your website? Where can they order coffee from?
Absolutely. So
oh
yeah.
wait, you also besides you have the full
That's right. Yeah, so I have whole bean and ground coffee.
Whole bean, that's right.
And it comes in 12 ounces or 5-pound bags. One of those two. So all my coffees, that's the two sizes you can get, and it ships right to your door. And you can find me on www.stagecoach.com. redwhiteandbadassbrew.com, or you can follow me on Instagram, and in the bio is a link to my website. So go follow me on Instagram, go check me out online, order some coffee, and I welcome all feedback.
Awesome.
And it comes with a badass guarantee. If you don't like it, I'll give you your money back.
That is pretty badass. That is. We're gonna go straight. All right, Dustin, thank you so much for being on, man. Yep. I really appreciate this. We got all your info. We'll add stuff for that. I do want to say thanks to Michael Schwartz and Joe Dramisi and Dave Stahl from Gun Owners Radio. They had you on. They had you on over the winter, I think it was. And when I was looking for people to interview in Southern California, I'm like, all right, who have those guys had on that I could have on? That'd be cool. So
thank you so much.
So this is when I reached out. So check out Gun Owners Radio. Check them out. I'll put a link for those guys as well. But I do want to thank you guys for watching the show. If you haven't subscribed to YouTube, please do. If you are not a member of the Second Amendment Foundation, you can support them at saf.org. It's $150 for a lifetime membership. You can also donate at the CCRBKA, the Committee for the Citizens' Right to Keep and Bear Arms. You can check out all of your favorite pro-freedom podcasts in one place at sdrn.us. That's Self-Defense Radio Network. And of course, if you're watching the show and listening to the show, you need to share it so we can get the stagecoach across America. Dustin, again, thanks so much for being on.
Thanks.
And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.
Awesome. Thank you.